What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. Still coming at you from the Prime Terminal, sitting just outside the Millennium Building. About to run in here and talk to Success Leasing in a little bit, get all that paperwork, and go from there. But just want to talk about a conversation that I had yesterday, and it really got me thinking a bit. It really didn't hit me right away as soon as the conversation was over, but started thinking about it more and more as the night went on. And the conversation was this, I meet a guy that's just upgrading from TNT, and we're talking about his experience and all this kind of stuff. And I asked him, do you plan on going company or lease? Now, I asked that question for a number of different reasons. If you plan on going lease, maybe I can answer some questions that you have, stuff like that. And if you're going company, I know some people that have trucks at Prime that you can operate as a company driver under them and possibly make more money and more flexibility and, all that stuff that goes along with that. So that's usually why I asked the question. And his reply was, I'm just going company. It kind of went over my head at first, but I kind of thought about it later. And one thing that you don't need to do is feel like you need to make an excuse for going company, or going company is a bad thing, or something like that. Just the way he said it, I'm just going company, just kind of made me feel some type of way, like he was having to explain himself or something like that. And listen, if you're with Prime, Swift, wherever, any of these companies that have dual sides, be it lease drivers, company drivers, don't feel like you need to make an excuse for going company or anything like that. The chances of success going company as opposed to going lease is probably a bit higher on the company side than the lease side. You don't really hear a lot of people talking about failing as a company driver, where you see that happen on the lease side. So, those of you guys that have been watching me for a long time, go back to them early videos before I even came to Prime. I was talking about going company, and I was never going to feel like I had to explain anything to anybody, or, say that and have people look down on me or whatever the feeling could be, because everybody has a different plan and everybody's plans can change. Somebody telling me that they're going to go company lets me know that in some cases they may have put more thought into it than somebody that just says, I'm gonna go lease, right off the bat. My initial intentions were to go company, and the reason I was going to do that, first of all, was just bad information. Around the time that I came out, there were a lot of people, or a lot more people seemed like were failing on leases, whether it be with Prime or, other companies. And, I was kind of looking at that and I was like, I don't know. And then I was looking at the company side, and this video might be a little long because I might touch on a few things, but I started thinking about the company side, and I started looking at what my goals were. And really, my goals had nothing to do with monthly income, things like that. What I wanted to do was have the ability to buy one more home, whether it be an investment property, vacation property, second home, something like that, before I really get ready to retire. So that was one of the reasons why I was going to go company, because easier getting loans if you're a W-2 employee, things like that. We will get to that home buying thing. I promise I'll at least do the beginning of those videos probably today sometime, if not today, tomorrow. So I was thinking about going company and everything, and one thing that I hadn't known at the time, because I hadn't talked to recruiters or anything at that point, was the day off situation. And once I realized what the day off situation was, that really just cemented the fact that I was going to go lease. Now, that ended up, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and some of you guys that talk to me understand that. I have a lot more wisdom than I have smarts. But I get, I don't know if it's my bubbly personality or what, but I'm about as lucky as you can get sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I got lucky coming to Prime because I initially wasn't going to come to Prime, and I got lucky kind of going Lease when my full intentions were to go company. So went Lease, started looking at it. All right, doing exactly what I want to do. Still can accomplish all the goals I want. From a monthly standpoint, I'm making more money than I really needed to make. So I started kind of changing up my goals, looking at things I wanted to do. So I was in that first Lease, and I was like, you know what? I'm not sure if it makes financial sense for me to be in a regular Lease right now. Let me go ahead and break this Lease, order a truck, and then just kind of do the lease purchase and have something that's paid off in 3 years. One of the reasons that I was doing that was because I'm really not looking at this too long term. I mean, I'm 53 years old, stuff like that. So I'm really trying to look at this as almost investing. And some people would look at that and say, you know what, Lyle, it don't make sense. That's stupid. It's a depreciating asset and things like that. And the way I'm looking at it is, if I'm going to be making this payment anyway, whether if I do the regular Lease, why not do it on a lease purchase and then have that truck paid off in 3 years, and then in 3 years, boom, keep running it without a payment, or turn around and sell it, bank that money, and look at it almost like an investment property. And my thought process was, if I was to go buy a house and put, on an investment property, let's say, I put 20% down or whatever on that, how much is that house going to go up in 3 years? Well, chances are, in certain areas, maybe not the price range I'd be looking at, it could go up that amount, but chances are it wouldn't. So I looked at it as a way for me to make the same payments I'm making now, potentially put a good amount of money in the bank after 3 years. Got in the lease purchase, everything going great, better than I expected. And I looked a little bit further out on my goals, things like that, and said, you know what? How can I accomplish these goals and help somebody else out along the way? Boom. Let's order another truck. Look at it the same way, same philosophy. Find a driver that's happy being company. Pay that driver more than company. Give a lot more flexibility. Give all that stuff. And then let them run that out 3 years. Sell that truck, because I'm not trying to be a fleet owner or anything like that. And then let them order a truck. So help somebody else along the way. I think being a little bit older, you get that wisdom. And wisdom, I'll take over smarts any day of the week. If I was younger, 20s, maybe even early 30s, I might look at this like some big dick swinging contest. Let me be an owner operator. Let me get a 389P, get my own authority, do all that stuff. And really, that would be a lot of vanity and all that kind of stuff. May not even fit into what my goals are. Now, my goals would be different if I was younger. Now, if I planned on being in the trucking industry a long time, maybe I might make that switch over to be, complete owner operator, own authority, all that kind of stuff. But for me, this works. And a lot of people, will tell me that that's what I should do. Why are you doing that? Whatever. Listen, figure out what your goals are. My goals are to do exactly what I want to do without having a lot of my own money invested. Now, I have invested quite a bit of money, $14,000 for the down payment on this truck, plus about another $4,000 in extras, plus the next truck was $14,000. Well, maybe it wasn't 14. It might have been $13,000 down, plus about $5,500 in extra. So all that money over the course of 2 years, that's quite a bit of money. Not even 2 years. Quite a bit of money, but it's not real money. You know, it's not like I'm out financing a truck and something happens and now all of a sudden, you know, they're coming after my assets or something like that. I'm trying to stay protected. That's my goal. Now, that doesn't mean that needs to be everybody else's goal. There are a bunch of company drivers out there at a bunch of different companies that are doing well that don't feel like they need to apologize for being a company driver. You know, I think it's a lot of, you know, it's a lot of monkey see, monkey do. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's going lease or going lease purchase or starting a fleet or going owner operator. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Having the ability to look at people that have succeeded and follow their path is a lot easier than cutting that path on your own. But don't feel like you need to do something just because somebody else is doing it. You know? There are a bunch of reasons to just stay a company driver. You know, there's a ton of company drivers out there that are doing well. There's all kinds of reasons to go owner operator, but don't feel like you need to fall into that trap. You know, if I was younger, I could see me falling into that. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have been the first decision that I made that didn't necessarily line up with my long-term goals. So hopefully, you know, being older than I think the majority of the people that watch this channel are, you know, hopefully you can kind of, how can I explain it? There's a certain amount of not needing to prove anything to anybody that goes along with getting older. Some people would just call it, you know, not giving a fuck what people think. And I think that is a mindset that some people need to have, rather than just falling into what everybody else is doing. It just made me feel real bad when he just said, you know, I'm just going company. You know, like there was something wrong with that or something. I don't know. Anyway, you know, kind of touching on the whole, you know, big dick swinging contest thing, you know, every time somebody says, you know, am I starting a fleet, you know, that word makes me cringe. I don't know why it makes me cringe. And I would never, you know, even if I had 3 or more trucks, I would not really call myself a fleet owner. I'm just a guy that has some trucks, you know what I'm saying? And I've never looked at me getting this next truck or possibly, you know, getting another truck after this one. I've never looked at that as being like all of a sudden I'm more successful because I have that additional truck. It might make it easier for me to get to my goals that I want or something like that, but I'm not going to feel like I'm more or less successful whether I was being a company driver, you know, being an owner operator, you know, fleet owner, if you want to call it that, or whatever. You know, I'm like, one of the good things and bad things about me is once I bite onto a goal, I am not letting off of that. And as of right now, because goals change, or how you get there can change in the process, this is all I think that I'm going to need. You know? I don't need to fall into the templates that other people have. So anyway, let me just wrap this up. To make a long story short, don't feel it necessary to follow in anybody else's path. You can use their path to make things easier for you if they align with what you're trying to do. But don't feel like, okay, well now, you know, I need to come out here and do this, or, you know, I get so damn tired on these Facebook groups. You know, how much money do you make being a lease operator? Or, should I go lease or company? Go. You know what are your fucking goals? If you're gonna, putting out that vague ass question makes no, putting out that vague question without anything attached to it isn't enough information for anybody to give you correct information for your situation. So if I was to be in a Facebook group and I'm gonna ask, you know, should I go, you know, lease or, you know, company, or whatever the question is, you know what, instead of asking that question, you know what, why did you go lease? Why did you go company? And then get all those answers and then see, okay, well, these match kind of what I'm trying to do. All right, this makes sense. Okay, well, you know what? Maybe if I got 4 kids at home and all this kind of stuff and insurance and, you know, maybe I want to get some 401k and I don't really want to do all this, maybe company's the way to go. Or, you know what? Somebody reads my comment, oh, you know what, I went lease because of home time, flexibility, blah, blah. Oh, you know what, that's important to me too. Maybe that's the way I should go. Basing everything on money generally is not going to give you the best results. Okay? There needs to be something more important than the money. And usually what I've found, whether it be in this business or in my previous business, the less I focus on money, the more that money comes. You know, if I was in my last business, if I'm thinking about, oh God, you know, I got to make a bunch of money, you know, it just seemed a little bit harder rather than me just putting my head down and doing what I needed to do. Anyway, enough about that. Just want to thank you guys for stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.